Canadians don't appear to have much to be worried about when it comes to NAFTA. That, if remarks made by Andrew Leslie tonight are any indication. I'm Campbell at the University of Alberta's Calgary campus, where the former general turned politician spoke to a room full of stakeholders, giving them the latest on where negotiations stand between our country, the United States, and Mexico. They came from all walks of life to hear from one of a few Canadian politicians who actually has a seat at the table. Andrew Leslie took time to answer each of their questions as best he could. The file's so complex, he admits there are things he's constantly learning about this as the situation continues to evolve.
There were 3 or 4 issues which I was unaware of, which were brought up by Canadians who were impacted by some of the discussions that are taking place, and they gave us good feedback.
The energy sector played a big role in some of these questions, but that came as no surprise given this was predominantly an Alberta-based audience. There were also some questions about agriculture and supply management. Much has been said about the Americans and whether all 3 parties are negotiating in good faith. Leslie says he's encouraged that everyone is still at the table.
Yes, there's been some trials and tribulations. There's been a bunch of noise. Mind you, negotiating with such complexities is not for the faint of heart, and we shouldn't be surprised there's some noise.
He adds there are certain issues they've not accepted put forth by the Americans that infringe on our sovereignty, such as having trade disputes determined out of Washington. That being said, he didn't appear to be too worried about the fate of NAFTA.
I think we should all pay a lot of attention to the various discussions surrounding the North American Free Trade Agreement. Worry is perhaps too strong a term, but President Trump has mused aloud several times over the last year about his dislike for multilateral deals. We believe in multilateralism.
One of those in the audience worried about supply management, Casey Vanderplug from the Alberta Cattle Feeders Association.
We're encouraged by that cooperation that we see. And, industry's doing its part too. We're having conversations with our counterparts in the United States and in Mexico to emphasize the importance of NAFTA for our industry.
Trilateral talks continue. In the meantime, the 3 parties will meet next in Montreal in January. Negotiations could be wrapped up by the end of March if they are able to stick to President Trump's timetable. Campbell, City News, Calgary.